When people think about Egypt, they imagine pyramids, deserts, ancient queens, and timeless traditions. But modern Egypt is not frozen in history. It is alive, restless, and changing. And nowhere is that transformation more visible than in the lives of Egyptian women. To understand Egyptian women today, you have to understand the tension they live with every day. It is not a loud revolution. It is not dramatic rebellion. It is something quieter, a constant negotiation between tradition and modernity. In Egypt, tradition is powerful. Family reputation matters deeply. Community perception matters. Religion shapes daily rhythms, from prayer times to social expectations. For many women, modesty is not just a style, it is part of identity. Respect toward parents is non-negotiable. Marriage is not simply romance, it is a social structure that connects families. But at the same time, Egypt is also modern. It has universities filled with ambitious young women studying medicine, engineering, business, media, and technology. It has female entrepreneurs building brands online. It has influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers shaping fashion and opinion. It has women who travel, work, lead teams, and earn their own income. This duality creates something unique. Walk through Cairo and you will see it immediately. A woman in a traditional black abaya standing next to another wearing jeans and a blazer. A fully covered hijab style beside carefully styled loose hair. A conservative mother walking with a daughter who dreams of studying abroad. Neither of them is less Egyptian. They simply represent different interpretations of identity. For many women, life is about balance. They may pursue a career, but still prioritize family expectations. They may have strong personal opinions, but choose carefully when and where to express them. They may embrace global culture through Netflix, Instagram, and international brands, yet remain deeply connected to faith and local customs. Education has played a huge role in shifting dynamics. Over the past decades, more Egyptian women have entered higher education than ever before. University campuses are filled with young women who speak multiple languages, understand global trends, and have clear ambitions. But education does not erase tradition. Instead, it reshapes it. A modern Egyptian woman might want both, a successful career and a stable marriage. Independence and belonging. Freedom and respectability. And this is where things become complex. Economic realities also shape women's lives. Egypt is not a wealthy country for most people. Financial pressure influences marriage timing, career decisions, and family roles. In many cases, women work not only for ambition but necessity. Dual incomes have become increasingly common in urban areas. Yet cultural expectations often remain traditional. A woman may work full-time, and still be expected to carry most household responsibilities. She may contribute financially, but still be judged primarily by her marital status. This creates quiet pressure. Social media has amplified both freedom and scrutiny. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok allow Egyptian women to express themselves, build businesses, and share opinions. But visibility also invites criticism. Online culture can be supportive, and harsh. Young women today grow up watching global influencers while also hearing local expectations from family and society. They are exposed to two value systems at the same time. And instead of choosing one, many are blending them. Modest fashion, for example, has evolved into a powerful expression of style. Wearing a hijab no longer means rejecting trends. Designers create elegant outfits that combine modest cuts with modern aesthetics. Faith and fashion coexist. At the same time, there are women who choose not to wear traditional coverings. Their choice may reflect personal interpretation, family background, or simply preference. Egypt contains both realities. What is important to understand is this: Egyptian women are not a single narrative. There are conservative rural communities where tradition dominates daily life. There are elite neighborhoods where global culture feels stronger than local restrictions. There are middle-class families trying to adapt carefully without losing their values. Even within the same family, perspectives can differ. A grandmother, a mother, and a daughter may all define respect differently. And then there is ambition. Many young Egyptian women are incredibly driven. They want financial independence. They want meaningful careers. They want to travel. They want to be seen and heard. But unlike Western narratives of independence, their goals often include family stability as well. They are not rejecting marriage. They are redefining partnership. Modern Egyptian women increasingly expect emotional intelligence from men. Respect. Support for their ambitions. Shared responsibility. The idea of marriage as strict hierarchy is slowly being questioned in urban circles. But change is gradual. It is uneven. It depends on location, education, and class. And religion remains central. Islam plays a significant role in shaping moral frameworks. For many women, faith is not oppression, it is structure, comfort, and identity. It guides choices around relationships, dress, and social behavior. But interpretations vary widely. Some see empowerment within religious boundaries. Others push for reinterpretation. Both perspectives exist simultaneously. The outside world often misunderstands this complexity. Media narratives tend to simplify, either portraying Egyptian women as oppressed or as dramatically rebellious. Reality is more nuanced. Most change happens quietly. In conversations at dinner tables. In career decisions. In subtle shifts in expectations between couples. In daughters negotiating curfews. In mothers encouraging education. It is evolution, not explosion. And perhaps that is what makes Egyptian women so fascinating. They carry thousands of years of cultural history, yet they are fully present in the modern world. They navigate contradiction daily. They read situations carefully. They adapt. Strength in Egypt often looks calm. It looks composed. It looks strategic. Between tradition and modernity, Egyptian women are not stuck. They are building something new, carefully, intelligently, and in their own way. If you truly want to understand modern Egypt, do not start with politics. Do not start with monuments. Start with its women. Because in their balance between past and future, you will see the real transformation of the country unfolding, one generation at a time. Fashion in Egypt is far more than just clothing. It is identity, status, faith, and self-expression all at once. Every street, cafe, and shopping district in cities like Cairo or Alexandria tells a story about how Egyptian women negotiate the complex relationship between tradition and modernity. In many ways, Egyptian fashion is about balance. It's not simply about wearing what is trendy, it's about combining respect for cultural norms with personal expression. For instance, women in hijabs often carefully coordinate colors, fabrics, and accessories. A black abaya can be elevated with elegant jewelry, designer handbags, or fashionable shoes. Modest dressing has evolved into a form of art, merging style and tradition. The younger generation is especially inventive. Social media platforms such as Instagram and TikTok have amplified new trends and created communities where fashion-savvy Egyptian women can share ideas, outfits, and inspirations. These platforms have also brought global trends into everyday life. Sneakers paired with long skirts, colorful scarves with Western jackets, and modern cuts in traditional fabrics are common sights in urban Egypt. But fashion is also a reflection of social class. Wealthier neighborhoods boast luxury boutiques, designer labels, and private styling consultations. Middle-class areas showcase local markets, where creativity shines in more affordable, handmade, or locally designed clothing. Women often navigate these different social spheres, adapting their fashion choices to fit context. What they wear to work, university, family gatherings, or nightlife can be dramatically different. Cultural and religious norms continue to influence choices. While some women fully embrace Western styles, Others maintain a stricter adherence to modesty. The art lies in subtlety and nuance, expressing individuality without crossing lines that might attract social judgment. Fashion, in this context, is both armor and statement. It protects a woman's reputation while simultaneously signaling her personality, taste, and even ambitions. Fashion also serves as a bridge across generations. Mothers who grew up in more conservative times now see daughters experimenting with trends while maintaining respect for cultural expectations. This creates intergenerational conversations about identity, self-expression, and empowerment. Fashion becomes not only visual but also a social dialogue. Events like Cairo Fashion Week highlight this evolution. Young designers and models are blending heritage with innovation. Traditional Egyptian embroidery appears on modern silhouettes. Handwoven fabrics are cut into contemporary shapes. What emerges is a new aesthetic, one that respects history while embracing global culture. In the private sphere, fashion and personal style can be a form of rebellion. A woman might wear bold colors, subtle makeup, or contemporary cuts at home or among friends. These choices may never be broadcast in public but still reflect autonomy and self-expression. Egyptian women also use fashion as a tool for empowerment in professional settings. Business meetings, university presentations, and corporate interviews require careful dressing that conveys competence and authority. Style is communication. It signals confidence, intelligence, and cultural awareness. However, fashion is not free from judgment. Egyptian women constantly negotiate visibility and perception. A choice deemed fashionable by some may be criticized by others for being too bold or inappropriate. This delicate balancing act sharpens social awareness and often leads to creative solutions that merge elegance, respect, and individuality. In summary, Egyptian women's fashion is not superficial, it is deeply cultural, strategic, and adaptive. It is how women navigate society, express identity, and bridge tradition with modernity. In a country where social, religious, and generational expectations converge, style becomes a language, and Egyptian women are fluent speakers. Dating in Egypt is a complex and fascinating interplay of culture, tradition, religion, and modern influences. Unlike in many Western countries, relationships are rarely casual. They often carry a weight of social expectation, family involvement, and long-term intention from the very beginning. For Egyptian women and men, dating is rarely just about attraction, it is about compatibility, respect, and a shared vision for the future. In major cities like Cairo or Alexandria, young people increasingly meet through universities, workplaces, friends, and social circles. Introductions by trusted acquaintances are common and often preferred because they provide a level of trust and social validation that public encounters cannot. Online platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and more recently dating apps, have added new dimensions to relationships, allowing for discreet, thoughtful, and gradual interactions. However, public displays of affection are limited and are generally frowned upon. Kissing or holding hands in public is considered inappropriate in many areas, especially outside tourist zones. Most interactions occur in private settings, such as coffee shops, homes, or semi-private gatherings where trust and discretion are maintained. Respect for boundaries is crucial, and a single misstep can have significant social consequences. Family plays a central role in most relationships. Parents and older relatives often act as advisors, mediators, or even decision-makers in the courtship process. While the younger generation may initiate conversations or interactions, family approval is typically required before any relationship becomes serious. This can influence how relationships develop, how often couples meet, and even the pace at which they progress. Family involvement is not always restrictive. It also provides guidance and support, ensuring that decisions align with social and cultural expectations. Religion is another guiding force. Islam, which the majority of Egyptians practice, emphasizes modesty, respect, and intentionality in relationships. Premarital relationships are generally expected to be discreet, and long-term commitment is highly valued. Couples are often encouraged to pursue relationships that have the potential for marriage, rather than casual dating. Discussions about intentions, values, and life goals occur early, ensuring compatibility before deeper emotional investment. Yet modernization and urbanization have created new norms. In cosmopolitan areas, young people are exploring love, companionship, and emotional intimacy in ways that were previously uncommon. Casual socializing, joint outings, and even short-term partnerships are increasingly tolerated among educated, urban youth. Conversations about personal growth, career ambitions, and shared interests are becoming integral parts of modern courtship. One interesting dynamic is the balance between tradition and privacy. Couples often communicate more through private messages and online platforms than in public spaces, allowing them to express themselves without fear of societal judgment. This digital layer creates opportunities for personal connection while navigating cultural restrictions. Dating in Egypt also emphasizes personal responsibility and character. Men are expected to demonstrate reliability, respect, and the ability to provide stability, while women are expected to display integrity, intelligence, and emotional awareness. Mutual respect forms the foundation of successful relationships, and both parties are conscious of social reputation, family expectations, and personal integrity. Another aspect of Egyptian relationships is the concept of timing. Marriage and serious commitments are often carefully considered, influenced by financial readiness, career goals, and family circumstances. Romantic gestures are meaningful but measured, spontaneity exists but within socially acceptable boundaries. Tourist areas like Sharm el-Sheikh or Hurghada offer slightly more relaxed social environments where dating behaviors can resemble Western norms. Here, international influence, economic prosperity, and tourism create pockets of liberalized social interaction. However, even in these zones, respect, discretion, and cultural awareness remain key. Ultimately, dating and relationships in Egypt are about negotiating between tradition and desire, family expectations and personal autonomy, cultural norms and global influence. They require patience, emotional intelligence, and an understanding of the social fabric that underpins daily life. Egyptian men and women navigate a world where attraction and affection exist alongside duty, respect, and long-term planning. In essence, Egyptian dating culture is not just about romance, it is about weaving a relationship that harmonizes personal dreams with cultural reality. Love exists, but it is carefully nurtured, thoughtfully expressed, and deeply intertwined with identity, family, and faith. For those who understand its rhythms, Egyptian courtship is not restrictive, it is deeply meaningful, intentional, and profoundly human. When people imagine Egypt, their minds often drift to ancient pyramids, the bustling markets of Cairo, or the golden sands of the Sahara. Yet beneath the surface of this culturally rich and historically monumental country lies a nightlife scene that few outsiders truly understand, a world of exclusivity, luxury, and discretion where the elite gather after dark. This hidden side of Egypt is not about casual partying or tourist entertainment, it is a carefully curated social ecosystem that blends wealth, influence, culture, and subtle rebellion. In upscale districts of Cairo, Alexandria, and along the Red Sea in cities like Sharm el-Sheikh, private lounges, rooftop bars, and members-only clubs form the backbone of this nightlife. These venues are far removed from the bustling streets and tourist centers. Entry is selective, not everyone can walk in freely. Access often depends on social connections, reputation, or invitations. The clientele is a mixture of business magnates, influencers, government officials, and international visitors who prefer discretion and sophistication over loud, chaotic entertainment. The atmosphere in these elite venues is carefully crafted. Soft lighting, minimalist yet luxurious decor, and curated music create an environment that encourages conversation and networking over casual partying. International DJs occasionally perform for small, private crowds, but the focus is rarely on spectacle alone. Here, conversation, subtle displays of status, and style matter as much as the drinks or the music. Attire is scrutinized, women in elegant gowns, men in tailored suits. Every detail signals taste, respectability, and social standing. Alcohol consumption in this world is discreet. Unlike Western nightclubs where excess and flamboyance are the norm, in elite Egyptian venues, drinking is controlled, subtle, and often secondary to social interaction. The focus is on elegance, connection, and maintaining a carefully managed image. Overindulgence can be socially costly. Guests are aware that they are observed, even when they believe they are hidden from the public eye. This nightlife is also a space for cultural negotiation. While the broader Egyptian society values tradition and modesty, these elite environments provide a controlled space where social rules can be stretched without violating core values. For example, private dance floors, exclusive lounges, and hidden rooftop terraces allow women and men to interact more freely than they might in public spaces. Yet even here, respect, etiquette, and discretion are paramount. The hidden elite nightlife in Egypt is also about influence. Deals are made, partnerships are forged, and social hierarchies are reinforced. Conversations revolve around business, international trends, fashion, investment, and personal ambitions. A simple introduction at the right party can open doors to career opportunities, collaborations, or access to otherwise closed circles. In this way, nightlife is not just entertainment, it is a form of social currency. Despite its exclusivity, this world is not completely detached from the wider society. It reflects the tension between wealth and tradition, modernity and heritage, openness and privacy. Those who participate are constantly aware of the broader cultural context. They navigate social expectations with sophistication, balancing visibility with discretion. Every action is observed, interpreted, and often discussed within their social networks. Tourism has influenced these elite scenes as well. Coastal cities like Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada host international visitors who bring different expectations of nightlife. Locals and expatriates alike adapt to these influences, blending global entertainment trends with Egyptian social norms. Here, nightclubs may feature international cocktails, live music, and foreign-inspired decor, but they are still highly curated spaces where social behavior and reputation remain central. Gender dynamics are particularly nuanced in these settings. Women in elite nightlife often enjoy more freedom of expression than in public spaces, yet they are acutely aware of perception. They may wear more daring fashion, socialize with men outside family networks, and express opinions openly, but always within an atmosphere of careful observation and subtle boundaries. Men, too, are expected to demonstrate sophistication, charm, and social awareness rather than mere bravado or dominance. The elite nightlife is not uniform across Egypt. Cairo's high-end rooftop lounges feel different from Alexandria's Mediterranean-style waterfront clubs, and both differ from the resort-driven nightlife along the Red Sea. Each environment carries its own social codes, hierarchy, and rules, but the core principles of discretion, sophistication, and status awareness remain consistent. Ultimately, Egypt's hidden nightlife scene is about more than glamour. It is about identity, power, and negotiation. It is where the modern Egyptian elite experience freedom within carefully defined boundaries. It is a mirror reflecting how wealth, culture, and social expectation intersect in a society that is ancient, vibrant, and complex. For outsiders, this world may seem mysterious or even exotic. But for those who live it, it is simply a natural extension of life in Egypt, a space where influence meets elegance, and tradition meets discreet modernity. Here, the night is not just about entertainment. It is about strategy, expression, and the quiet affirmation of social and cultural identity that in Egypt, meeting someone in real life is a ritual shaped by centuries of tradition, social structure, and modern urban life. Unlike in Western countries, where casual encounters or app-based interactions may dominate, Egyptians often rely on networks, social circles, and family connections. Real-life introductions are rarely accidental, they are intentional, guided by trust, reputation, and social context. One of the most common ways people meet is through friends and family. Introductions arranged by mutual acquaintances are highly valued. If a friend vouches for someone, it signals credibility and respectability, which is especially important in a culture where reputation carries weight. These introductions often happen in safe and neutral settings, a cafe, a friend's gathering, or during celebrations. They allow both parties to interact in a controlled environment where social expectations are clear and boundaries are respected. Universities and educational institutions also serve as significant meeting grounds. Egyptian students spend a lot of time in classrooms, libraries, and study groups, which naturally creates opportunities for interaction. Academic collaboration often leads to friendships, which may then evolve into romantic interest. In this context, intellectual compatibility is valued, and the foundation for a potential relationship is often built on shared interests, mutual respect, and meaningful conversation rather than impulsive attraction. Workplaces are another key environment. Professional collaboration provides both context and structure for interactions. Meeting someone in a professional setting allows individuals to assess qualities like responsibility, intelligence, and interpersonal skills. Again, trust and reputation are paramount. Egyptians often prefer to establish connections through verified social channels rather than random encounters. Even weddings, religious gatherings, and family events play a central role. Egyptian culture places great importance on communal life, and social events are frequently opportunities to meet new people. Weddings, in particular, are not only celebrations but also social networks in motion. Observing behavior, gauging character, and exchanging meaningful conversations during such events can lead to lasting connections. While social circles remain central, digital tools are increasingly influencing real-life meetings. Social media platforms, messaging apps, and dating websites provide a way to explore potential connections before meeting face-to-face. In urban areas, especially Cairo and Alexandria, it is common for conversations to begin online, allowing both parties to establish comfort and understanding prior to a real-world encounter. Despite the digital layer, in-person meetings remain critical to assessing compatibility and trust. Egyptians value genuine interaction, and online chats are often seen as preparatory rather than decisive. Public spaces, however, are treated differently than in the West. Street encounters, unsolicited approaches, or random conversations with strangers are relatively uncommon and often discouraged, particularly in conservative areas. Respect for personal boundaries is emphasized, and overt gestures of flirtation in public can be seen as inappropriate. Social norms shape the environment. People are cautious, polite, and deliberate. Cultural understanding also plays a crucial role in real-life meetings. Egyptians are sensitive to hierarchy, social status, and context. How you approach someone, the setting in which you meet, and your mannerisms all carry significance. Humor, respect, and patience are essential qualities for making a positive impression. Brashness or casual overconfidence is often interpreted negatively, while attentiveness, politeness, and subtle charm are admired. Gender dynamics in real-life meetings are nuanced. Men and women often navigate interactions with careful attention to social norms and cultural expectations. Women may engage selectively, ensuring that the person they are interacting with has credibility and good intentions. Men are expected to demonstrate respect, confidence, and integrity without overstepping boundaries. Subtle social cues, tone, and body language carry immense weight in these interactions. Timing is another factor. Egyptians often prefer to take their time to understand the person they meet. Initial conversations may focus on shared values, interests, family background, and personal ambitions. Compatibility in these areas is considered as important as physical attraction. Meetings are gradual, thoughtful, and layered with social observation. In urban Egypt, modern nightlife, cafes, and cultural events supplement traditional meeting places. Art exhibitions, music performances, and literary events are growing venues for young people to connect. These spaces provide opportunities for interaction in an environment that blends leisure with culture, creating natural contexts for conversation and mutual understanding. At the heart of real-life meetings in Egypt is trust. Social networks, family approval, and communal endorsement provide credibility. A person's reputation often precedes them, and meeting through shared connections ensures that interactions are rooted in authenticity and safety. This careful framework reflects a broader cultural value: relationships are built thoughtfully, with attention to integrity, respect, and intention. Ultimately, meeting someone in Egypt is an experience that blends tradition and modernity. It is guided by social norms, family influence, and cultural expectations, but it is also shaped by individual agency, digital tools, and urban lifestyles. Egyptians meet in real life with deliberation, awareness, and an understanding that relationships are more than moments of attraction, they are investments in trust, compatibility, and social harmony. Understanding how Egyptians meet in real life reveals a society that values connection, authenticity, and cultural coherence. It is a dance between personal desire and collective expectation, a balance between spontaneity and structure, and a reflection of how tradition and modern life coexist in contemporary Egypt. In Egypt, family is not just a social unit, it is the foundation of identity, values, and life decisions. From birth, individuals are immersed in a network of relationships that influence their choices, behaviors, and worldview. Family serves as teacher, guide, protector, and, at times, enforcer of social norms. Its role in daily life is profound, extending into education, career, personal relationships, and even leisure. The concept of family in Egypt is broad. It often includes not only parents and siblings but also extended relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, and sometimes close friends considered family. This extended network creates a web of interdependence, support, and accountability. Decisions are rarely made in isolation, input from relatives is considered essential, and social cohesion is valued above individualism. For women, family influence is especially significant. Choices about education, career, and social interactions are often guided by parents, especially mothers and grandmothers. While women in urban areas enjoy increasing independence, family opinions still carry weight. For example, a woman choosing a university or a career path may consult her family, balancing personal ambition with familial expectations. Even in matters of marriage, parental input is crucial. Families often evaluate potential partners based on values, financial stability, and compatibility with cultural and religious norms. In the realm of dating and relationships, family involvement is central. Courtship is rarely private, parents and relatives are aware of serious interactions. Families may facilitate introductions, mediate conversations, and provide guidance on compatibility. Their approval is not merely symbolic, it can determine the success or continuation of a relationship. Respecting this involvement is considered both polite and essential. Family also acts as a source of protection and support. In a society where public life can be challenging, having a strong familial network ensures safety, guidance, and social backing. Young women, in particular, rely on family to navigate societal expectations and public interactions. Families provide advice on etiquette, behavior, and personal conduct, which serves as both a shield and a framework for personal growth. Economic decisions are often intertwined with family dynamics. In many households, resources are pooled, and responsibilities are shared. Parents may contribute to education costs, wedding expenses, or housing, which strengthens intergenerational bonds but also requires negotiation and mutual understanding. These financial interconnections underscore the importance of family cohesion and collective decision-making. Religion further reinforces family's role. Islamic teachings emphasize respect for parents, obedience, and care for elders. Decisions are often filtered through moral and religious lenses, ensuring that choices align with ethical expectations. Family guidance helps individuals navigate conflicts between personal desires and societal norms. Despite the strong influence of family, modern Egyptian society is evolving. Urbanization, education, and exposure to global ideas are shifting traditional boundaries. Young people may assert more independence in career choices, lifestyle, and relationships, but they often do so while maintaining respect for familial advice. The negotiation between autonomy and family expectation is delicate, requiring tact, patience, and diplomacy. Family gatherings in Egypt are more than social events, they are educational and relational experiences. Meals, holidays, and celebrations provide opportunities for mentorship, observation, and reinforcement of social norms. Young adults learn negotiation, conflict resolution, and social cues in these environments. Families transmit values, ethics, and traditions through daily interactions, storytelling, and communal activities. Intergenerational dynamics are particularly influential. Grandparents, parents, and children often hold differing perspectives, yet dialogue among generations fosters understanding and adaptation. For example, a grandmother may prioritize traditional gender roles, a mother may encourage education and career development, and a daughter may blend these influences to forge her own identity. This interplay shapes both personal growth and social evolution. Family also serves as a moral compass. In public interactions, relationships, and professional environments, the awareness of familial reputation can influence behavior. Egyptians are conscious that personal actions reflect on the family unit, which creates an additional layer of accountability and consideration in decision-making. Ultimately, family in Egypt is both a support system and a framework for life. It provides emotional, social, and financial guidance while shaping values, behavior, and identity. Whether navigating education, careers, or relationships, Egyptians often weigh personal choices against familial expectations, seeking balance between self-expression and collective harmony. Understanding the role of family is key to understanding Egyptian society. It is through family that tradition is preserved, values are transmitted, and social cohesion is maintained. It is through family that individuals learn responsibility, respect, and resilience. And it is within family networks that Egyptians negotiate the complexities of modern life while remaining anchored to cultural and historical roots. Family is not a backdrop, it is the central stage on which life in Egypt unfolds. Every decision, interaction, and ambition is interwoven with the expectations, guidance, and love of the family, making it both the foundation of stability and the engine of social continuity. Egypt is a country where history, culture, and faith intersect in almost every aspect of daily life. Religion, particularly Islam, plays a central role in shaping traditions, social behavior, and moral expectations. Even in modern cities like Cairo or Alexandria, where global influences are strong, traditions and religious practices remain a powerful framework through which people navigate relationships, family, and community life. Religion in Egypt is not simply a matter of belief, it is a social and cultural compass. Daily routines, public interactions, and family expectations are deeply informed by religious norms. Prayer schedules, dietary laws, modest dress, and codes of conduct are all woven into the rhythm of life. While Islam is the dominant religion, its practice varies widely depending on region, social class, and personal interpretation. This diversity creates a rich tapestry of cultural expression, allowing traditions to coexist with modern lifestyles. Traditional customs in Egypt often stem from centuries-old practices, many of which predate modern institutions. Celebrations like Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, and Eid al-Adha are not merely religious holidays, they are social events that reinforce family bonds, community solidarity, and shared identity. During these times, neighborhoods come alive with special foods, charitable acts, and extended family gatherings. These practices strengthen social cohesion and provide continuity across generations. Marriage traditions are another area where religion and culture intersect. Courtship is often guided by both social norms and religious principles. Families are closely involved in introductions, negotiations, and planning. Compatibility in values, faith, and family background is as important as personal attraction. Engagements, dowries, and wedding ceremonies are steeped in ritual, blending modern customs with long-standing cultural norms. Even in urban areas where individual choice is more prevalent, the influence of tradition is evident in how relationships are approached, negotiated, and formalized. Modesty and propriety are central elements in Egyptian tradition. Women's dress codes, etiquette in public spaces, and behavioral expectations are often framed by both religious and cultural ideals. Men are also expected to demonstrate respect, responsibility, and adherence to social codes. These norms govern interactions, ensuring that relationships unfold within a framework that balances freedom and responsibility. Religion also influences education, career choices, and social mobility. While modern Egyptian society is increasingly secular in workplaces and universities, religious identity often remains important in shaping moral decisions, ethical conduct, and community belonging. People are conscious that personal actions reflect not only on themselves but also on their family and community, reinforcing a sense of accountability. Festivals and local traditions reveal the fusion of culture and religion. For example, traditional weddings may include music, dance, and attire that trace back centuries, yet modern elements like professional photography, contemporary music, and global fashion trends are seamlessly incorporated. Even everyday gestures, greetings, hospitality, and gift-giving, are guided by centuries-old etiquette that reflects both religious values and cultural identity. Religion also shapes leisure and entertainment. While nightlife and modern entertainment spaces exist, they often adapt to local expectations. Music, movies, and social events reflect cultural sensitivities, and activities are structured to respect both faith and tradition. In many cases, spaces for socialization are gender-segregated or carefully curated to maintain cultural propriety. Importantly, tradition and religion provide continuity amidst rapid change. Urbanization, globalization, and digital media have introduced new ideas and lifestyles, but religious and cultural practices anchor Egyptian society. They provide a framework for navigating modern challenges, offering moral guidance, and maintaining social cohesion. Despite the strong influence of tradition, Egyptians also innovate within these structures. Young people reinterpret religious practices in ways that align with contemporary life. Women pursuing education and careers may adapt dress codes, social interactions, and personal choices while still honoring their faith. Couples may approach relationships thoughtfully, balancing modern sensibilities with religious expectations. This adaptability demonstrates the dynamic nature of Egyptian culture, which evolves without abandoning its roots. Religious diversity, though smaller in scale, also adds depth to Egyptian traditions. Christian communities, primarily Coptic Orthodox, maintain distinct rituals, celebrations, and cultural practices that coexist with Islamic norms. These parallel traditions enrich the cultural fabric, demonstrating Egypt's historical complexity and tolerance. In essence, traditions and religion in Egypt are inseparable from daily life. They provide ethical guidance, social structure, and cultural identity. They inform relationships, influence behavior, and shape ambitions. At the same time, Egyptians negotiate these expectations creatively, blending heritage with modernity in a way that is uniquely their own. Understanding Egyptian traditions and religion is key to understanding the country itself. They illuminate why society functions the way it does, how people relate to one another, and why cultural norms are both respected and reinterpreted by each generation. Religion is not just a personal belief in Egypt, it is the lens through which life, family, and society are continuously understood, preserved, and adapted. Nightlife and dating in Egypt represent a fascinating intersection of tradition, modernity, and social negotiation. While Egypt is often associated with conservative social norms, the reality is far more nuanced. Cities like Cairo, Alexandria, and resort areas such as Sharm el-Sheikh or Hurghada host a spectrum of social spaces where young people navigate dating, friendship, and social interaction, often under the careful watch of cultural expectations. Egyptian nightlife is not uniform. It ranges from tourist-heavy clubs and bars along the Red Sea to discreet private gatherings in urban elite circles. In conservative neighborhoods, nightlife may be limited to cafes, cultural events, and family-oriented social spaces. In cosmopolitan districts, nightclubs, lounges, and live music events provide venues where young people can meet, socialize, and experience a level of personal freedom not always visible in public life. Dating in Egypt is closely tied to social context. While Western-style casual dating is rare, young people increasingly engage in meeting and interacting within socially acceptable frameworks. Social circles, friends, and family introductions remain crucial, but cafes, cultural events, and nightlife spaces offer opportunities to connect in a more modern and relaxed environment. Social media plays a significant role as well, allowing initial conversations to develop in private before face-to-face interaction occurs. In nightlife settings, interactions are nuanced. Young people are conscious of public perception, respecting boundaries while exploring connections. Flirtation is subtle, often expressed through conversation, humor, and shared interests rather than overt physical gestures. Cultural awareness is key. Egyptians are adept at reading social cues, understanding when a gesture is appropriate, and when it may overstep traditional norms. Private gatherings and elite nightlife add another layer of complexity. Exclusive venues in Cairo and Alexandria allow both men and women more freedom in how they express themselves, including fashion choices, conversation topics, and social behavior. These spaces provide a controlled environment where relationships can develop more openly than in public or mixed-gender spaces in conservative areas. In these circles, networking, social influence, and relationship building often occur simultaneously. Family involvement in dating remains significant. Even in nightlife contexts, young Egyptians are aware that their interactions reflect on family reputation. Relationships are rarely entirely private, and serious courtship usually includes family consultation and approval. Balancing personal autonomy with respect for parental and familial expectations is a central skill for young adults navigating modern dating landscapes. Egyptian women in nightlife settings may express individuality through fashion, conversation, and social engagement, yet they remain vigilant about reputation and perception. Men are expected to demonstrate respect, confidence, and social awareness. Both genders navigate a landscape that requires careful attention to cultural norms while allowing for personal expression. Economic and social class also shape nightlife and dating experiences. Elite venues, often expensive and selective, cater to wealthier young adults who can afford exclusivity. In contrast, more accessible cafes, cultural events, and casual gatherings serve middle-class youth. Each setting carries different expectations, norms, and opportunities for connection. Nightlife and dating in Egypt are not simply about romance or entertainment, they are about social navigation. Young people must balance curiosity, attraction, and personal desire with tradition, reputation, and cultural expectations. Relationships are built deliberately, with attention to compatibility, character, and long-term intentions. Spontaneity exists, but it is often tempered by awareness of social consequences. Tourist-influenced areas present a slightly different dynamic. Cities like Sharm el-Sheikh or Hurghada host international visitors whose social norms influence local behavior. Young Egyptians in these environments may experiment with freer social interaction, blending global dating habits with local cultural sensibilities. Yet even here, discretion, respect, and cultural awareness remain central. Ultimately, nightlife and dating in Egypt reflect a society negotiating between past and present. Social interactions are layered with meaning, guided by tradition, yet increasingly flexible in urban and elite spaces. Egyptian youth are learning to express themselves, explore relationships, and enjoy social life while maintaining respect for family, faith, and culture. In conclusion, nightlife and dating in Egypt offer a window into the country's evolving social fabric. They illustrate how young Egyptians balance identity, tradition, and modernity, creating spaces where culture and individuality coexist. Through careful navigation, subtle communication, and respect for social norms, young people experience connection, friendship, and love, all within the rich and complex tapestry of Egyptian society. When most people think of Egypt, their minds often drift to golden sands, the towering pyramids of Giza, and the bustling markets of Cairo. Tourist brochures, Instagram photos, and travel documentaries paint a picture of a country rich in history, color, and adventure. Yet the reality of everyday life in Egypt is far more complex and layered, revealing contrasts that visitors rarely see. Understanding the gap between tourist Egypt and everyday Egypt is essential to fully appreciate the country's culture, society, and daily rhythms. Tourist Egypt is a world designed to amaze and entertain. Cities like Cairo, Luxor, and Aswan host travelers seeking ancient monuments, Nile cruises, and vibrant markets. Resorts in Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada cater to sunseekers with all-inclusive packages, pristine beaches, and carefully curated experiences. In these environments, the focus is on aesthetics, convenience, and accessibility. Streets are clean, attractions are maintained, and guides provide narratives that emphasize Egypt's cultural and historical grandeur. Restaurants, hotels, and tourist services create an experience that is somewhat detached from everyday realities. Waiters, tour guides, and hospitality staff are trained to cater to international expectations. Menus are often available in multiple languages, prices may be higher than local standards, and services are designed to maximize comfort for foreign visitors. In this context, Egypt appears colorful, vibrant, and entirely welcoming, an idealized version of itself that exists primarily for external eyes. Yet everyday life for Egyptians presents a different reality. Beyond the tourist hubs, streets are crowded, public transportation is hectic, and markets bustle with local commerce rather than curated souvenir shops. Many Egyptians navigate challenges such as economic constraints, traffic congestion, and bureaucratic systems that tourists seldom encounter. Daily life involves work, family obligations, education, and social responsibilities that form the backbone of Egyptian society but remain invisible to visitors. Economic disparity is particularly apparent. Tourists may see upscale resorts, luxury boutiques, and high-end restaurants, but many ordinary Egyptians face a very different financial landscape. Prices for daily necessities, housing, healthcare, and education vary widely depending on location, social class, and region. The contrast between the wealth displayed in tourist areas and the realities of local life is striking, yet often unnoticed by short-term visitors. Cultural behavior also differs. Tourists may experience a version of Egyptian hospitality that is adapted to their expectations, friendly greetings, helpful directions, and courteous service. While genuine kindness exists, Egyptians in everyday life also navigate social hierarchies, personal safety, and local norms that may not always be apparent to outsiders. The etiquette of public behavior, communication, and social interaction is often context-dependent, influenced by neighborhood, gender, and family background. Gender dynamics, too, vary between tourist-focused areas and everyday environments. In tourist hubs, women may have more freedom in dress, mobility, and social interaction due to the influence of international visitors. In everyday Egypt, women often navigate stricter social norms, balancing personal expression with family expectations and cultural propriety. Understanding these nuances is key to comprehending the lived experience of Egyptian women, particularly in urban and rural areas outside the tourist gaze. Social life in tourist Egypt is highly curated. Entertainment, nightlife, and excursions are designed for safety, leisure, and visual appeal. In contrast, everyday social life in Egypt is informal, rooted in community, and often family-centered. Cafes, street markets, neighborhood gatherings, and religious celebrations form the fabric of daily interaction, where relationships, gossip, and mutual support operate in a nuanced, culturally rich context. Despite these contrasts, tourist Egypt and everyday Egypt are intertwined. Tourism provides vital economic opportunities, employment, and infrastructure that benefit local communities. Many Egyptians navigate both worlds seamlessly, working in tourism while maintaining their own cultural and social routines. This duality, living in one world while participating in another, is a defining feature of modern Egyptian life. The contrast also provides a lesson in perception. Visitors often assume they are seeing real Egypt through curated experiences. Yet the reality is a mosaic, part spectacle, part everyday life, part history, and part modern adaptation. Understanding this mosaic requires curiosity, observation, and a willingness to look beyond the glossy surface of tourist attractions. In conclusion, Egypt is a country of contrasts. Tourist Egypt dazzles with monuments, beaches, and curated experiences, while everyday Egypt reveals the complex, vibrant, and sometimes challenging realities of life for locals. To fully understand Egypt, one must navigate both worlds, recognizing that the beauty, struggle, and rhythm of daily life are as essential to the country's identity as the pyramids, temples, and Nile. For those who explore deeply, Egypt's story is not only historical or scenic, it is human, lived, and profoundly layered.